My first question is just gonna be, how are you?
I'm doing surprisingly well. I saw my my general physician yesterday, and his words were, you're pretty miraculous. All things considered, all my wounds have healed up pretty well. Um, my speech is doing well. My memory is getting a lot better. Um, yeah, I'm very grateful to kind of be where I am right now. All things considered, where I was, this time a month ago. I still have. I'm mostly deaf in my right ear, and my vision is um, fairly different in my right eye, and I have a lot of neuropathy and things like that. But overall, I'm doing a lot better.
And do you think that's gonna improve over time? Did they tell you like you're probably gonna get your vision and hearing back or no?
Yeah, I hope. I think since this doesn't happen very often, I think it seems like everyone's being a little kind of cagey with guarantees, which is totally understandable. I mean, we use this like as an expression in our day-to-day lives, like, oh, it's not like you're gonna get struck by lightning. So but yeah, I think people are fairly confident that my hearing will improve, whether or not it's through a hearing aid or just my eardrum healing on its own. I think they have to figure out what's going on with my eye before they will consider what to do moving forward. And I think they have to figure out, is the neuropathy just from the strike, or is it, did I hurt my back when I fell, or did the strike do something there that's causing, these nerves to react the way they are? So, yeah, I think I went to an incredible hospital after the incredible hospital I stayed at in Panama City. I went to a hospital called Marion Joy afterwards, which is a rehab hospital. And so they've signed me up for a lot of PT and OT and speech therapy or speech pathology. And so hopefully with all of that stuff, it'll kind of heal itself.
I have to ask, have you ever imagined that something like this would ever happen to you? I mean, to be struck by lightning, the odds are just insane of that even ever happening to anyone.
Yeah, I mean, I have to say, no. I think, you kind of, it's always in the back of your head when you're in a storm. You're like, oh, maybe. But like, how many times have you been, out walking and get caught in the rain? But, to answer your question, no, I can't. I can't ever. I would have never considered this to have been something in my life that would happen.
I don't know how much you remember about that day, but could you just kind of walk me through, at least from what you remember of what happened?
Yeah, it's I hope it's not too disappointing because it's pretty minimal, but I think I remember going to the beach with my brother and my father. I vaguely remember uh, fishing a little bit, and after that, I really don't remember anything until a couple days after in the hospital. I remember waking up, and I'm just so blessed to have the family and friends that I do. I remember seeing my family and friends in the hospital. And even then, my mind is still kind of putting everything together. Every day I'll get like a new memory kind of coming back to me. But the actual strike itself and events leading up to it and preceding it, really, I don't remember much at all.
And you were on vacation here, right, with your family?
Yeah, I was on vacation with my brother and my dad. Every year we do a fishing trip down to the Panhandle. It's usually Panama City or Destin, but we love Panama City because we've just been going there since, I mean, I was probably 12 or 13, and it's a great place to fish and it's great food. And, we enjoy a lot that the area has to offer. So yeah, we were down there on vacation. Yeah.
And I know their wife was by your side pretty much the whole time you were in the hospital too, right?
Yeah, yeah, she flew down as quickly as she could. I think she was there, I want to say that night. Um, yeah, it was incredible. She didn't leave my side throughout the entire stay at that hospital on the way up. And then once I got to Mary and Joy and everyone kind of knew I was going to be okay, she, went home to be with our kids and kind of relieve our mother-in-law.
Yeah, what did your kids think about all of this? I mean, the hear the dad got struck by lightning. I'm sure they were just like, "What happened?"
Yeah, yeah. So our oldest is Eva, and she's almost 3, and she's still kind of wrapping her head around it. Anytime I make a noise, she'll be like, "Oh, is that your boo boo? Is that from when you were struck by lightning?" But yeah, she understands it fairly well. I don't think she understood why I was gone for so long, or things of that nature. My son George is about 6 months old now, and uh, I definitely had to win him back when I came home. I was gone for 3 weeks, so but he's a sweet boy. But yeah, my daughter, I think it was weird for her because when I'm not working, I'm home and I'm with her all the time. So she's my little buddy. So I think it was weird for me to not be there for that long.
And when you kind of woke up in the hospital and kind of realized what had happened, what went through your mind, knowing that you have your kids, your wife, your family, after everything that had happened?
Yeah, I mean, I think I was just grateful. I think I felt really kind of blessed that things weren't worse. I thought it was crazy, but I think I just felt so happy and relieved that things weren't worse, that it seemed like I was going to make a full recovery. Yeah. So that was, my wife said the first couple times I woke up, I was like 10-second Tommy, with my memory. I would wake up and be like, what happened? And she'd be like, you got struck by lightning. I go, oh, that's metal. And I'd fall back asleep. And then I'd wake up and be like, what happened? She'd be like, oh, you got struck by lightning. Be like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then I'd fall back asleep. So I guess subconsciously I thought it was pretty cool. But yeah.
And speaking of work, you're also an opera singer, is that correct?
I am. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that's what I do most of the year. The summer season can be busy and can't be busy, but yeah, luckily I was able to take this time off right now and be with my family and be on that vacation. But yeah, it's
And your voice hasn't been affected by any of this, right? You're all good.
yeah, so far as I can tell, I've been doing a little bit of practicing. I haven't been trying to push it too much, but things, knock on wood, have been pretty back to normal.
Well, that's good. Is there anything that I didn't ask that you wanted to say?
Well, I'm just so thankful for the fire and rescue, that were there, that, you know, my father and my brother, thank God they were there. They did compressions for 2.5 minutes, I think, until EMS arrived. And then EMS did compressions for another 7 minutes, I think. So I think for 9.5 minutes I was dead, and uh my father is a SICU nurse and my brother is a unit coordinator. So they both immediately just went to work doing compressions on me. And I think without them and without fire and rescue, I wouldn't be here today. So I guess that's all I would want to say is I'm just so thankful for my family and for those awesome people who saved my life, who I, sadly can't even remember their names. I met them in the hospital. I have pictures with them, but I can't remember their names. But I would really like to, give a shout out to them and thank them for saving my life and for allowing me to be with my family.
Yeah, that's amazing that your dad and brother jumped in and immediately start. I mean, I'm sure that is part of the reason why you are still here is because they immediately got into action.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think, I don't pretend to know anything about medicine, but from what I understand, uh, the longer your brain is without oxygen, the worse it is. So I think, yeah, without them, I would not be here today, and I just I can't thank them enough. And it was, I'm sure it was so traumatizing for them, and for me, I just have like a cool story, and I'm doing some therapy, but I woke up in the hospital. For them, they had to sit through and not know whether or not I was going to make it, or how damaged my body would be, if my brain would, ever come back to its normal function. So I'm just so thankful for them and for everyone who just kind of stuck by my side.
And it's crazy too. They were with you on the pier when you got struck by lightning and they weren't hit at all, right?
Yeah, there's a video that I watched that I don't recommend. But I kind of watched it because I was like, oh, I know how this ends. It's pretty cool. And then we're all walking next to each other. And the lightning strikes, and my father and I are on the floor. So I don't know if it bounced to him or just the percussion, kind of shook him and sent him down. But my brother, he said, I didn't know what to do. I looked, and you were down and dad was down. And I think he said, I saw that dad was breathing and you weren't. So he started, I think, trying to get me ready. And then my dad kind of came to and came over and started doing compressions too. So yeah, so far as we know, I don't think they received any of the strike, which is crazy because we were within, feet of each other.
Do you think they know where exactly it struck you?
I think they think it struck my chest.
Okay.
Which is why they think it's so miraculous that I wasn't more injured than I was, that my internal organs weren't more injured. My liver and spleen, I think, took part of the strike because my liver enzymes were really elevated. But by the time I left, they were coming back to normal. And yeah, it's they think it hit my chest, which is just, I think, why, yeah, they just think it's so miraculous that more injuries didn't occur.